you see things in your life where you currently stand at a position of like this thought, this feeling, this physical state of being, this spiritual state of being as well, when you're on your spiritual journey for yourself is ready and awakening. And maybe you really feel like I'm so done with that. I really just want to feel different. I really just want to think something different, but I feel so much stuck to what is there. And this one-day workshop I am offering on the 21st of January will be from around 11 to 4 with a nice break in between. Will be a nice interactive transformation journey for you. So if you actually see in some moments that you have these thoughts, that you have these feelings where you maybe think something like, God, I'm not good enough, I always have to do something to be good enough. I always have to hold myself back so others feel better. I can't achieve what I want to achieve. I'm afraid to reject other people. This physical illness maybe you have this physical limitation you might live with right now. To really feel like I would really love to let it go, but I have no idea how. And I really don't see any way how, and any way in which way it could go in the end. And also if you have feeling patterns, for example, feelings where you really think like this feeling of anger which sometimes comes up, or this feeling of constant grief, or this feeling of constant of sadness maybe even as well, or of shame or guilt feelings, guilt if you do something, and where you feel in the outside already directly, it's like, they didn't like what I do here right now. And then to go and most probably go into a guilt state and think, well, I think I just do something different now. I think I can't hold what is happening there in the outside. And what I see so much is everything that we think, feel, and what physically is present for us, it's a story. It's a story we continue to tell ourselves. It's the story that I tell myself that I get rejected if. It's the story that I have to feel guilt if. It's a story that I only feel loved when. It's the story that I'm only good enough if. You know, that we continuously tell ourselves these kinds of stories that were made up by what we see in society, by what we learn from our parents, by what we actually taught ourselves over years and years by seeing in the outside, like what gave me love, what gave me security. And what I want to offer you on this one-day workshop is to release this story. To actually see on this mental, emotional, and physical level that we can let that story go. And that we can invite more the things that you really want. Feeling good enough, feeling worthy, feeling able, stable, and secure enough to do the things which you love to do. Where you already feel it, that's like where it's meant to go. Also, if you have a certain sickness right now, understanding the story of the sickness. Like, how is it still serving you? Where does it still bring you? Which thing inside yourself is it constantly confirming? As if you have like a song continuously only on shuffle and you don't know that there is also a button which you can press to just skip the next. Or to put in another CD, like more if you think a bit in the old school way. But I think you already get what I mean. So what we do in this workshop is to look at kind of areas of your life where you feel struggles right now, where you feel that something is not going in the way, also in some way how your heart mostly feels that it could be. It's not about what your mind says. Like if you have a business, for example, and you see that you're not at these figures which you would like to have, and that it's not about like, but I have to get more. That's here. That's ego mind. We want to go more into the heart. Like, what does your heart tell you? What actually could be there in your life already, right? So to connect to these deep desires from your heart, like what would you love instead to be there? What is your soul telling you that should be there in your life actually right now? And what is just the reoccurring tape you're playing where you didn't get yet that you can step out of that? You can step out of that. I've been in my life in so many, I call it now a bit traps, story traps. I've been in so many story traps where I thought like, yeah, but that's just what it is. Like, I just have to hate my body because that's what I learned. I just have to not feel good enough because that's just what I learned. I just have to stay with not feeling able to do something because that's just what I learned. That's just what I taught myself to learn over years and years and years of time. But to understand that that's just a story I'm continuously telling myself that I can't do it or that I'm not good enough for something. That's the part to get. It's just a story. And what we do in the workshop is to release on the mental, emotional, and physical level these stories. Because imagine you live this story year over year over year, day over day over day, minute over minute over minute. That's like a walking path. We have here a lot of snow currently outside. So imagine I every day walk the same road towards my yoga spot, for example, right now outside. I every day walk the same road. Well, already I can see now there's like a nice big path. And that's the same path neurologically, like in your mind and your thoughts, also with your feelings, the biochemical reaction in your body, and also the physical imprint, kind of the physical response we have. So my body, when I go out, directly wants to go the same path every morning because I already trained that now for a month. And maybe you train things for years. And then these ways are even deeper on a mental, emotional, and physical level. And what we do in this one-day workshop is to really look at, okay, where do you see your mental pathways? Where do you see your emotional pathways and your physical pathways? And how can I then in the end in that space support you through certain exercises to let go of the story on your mental level, to let go on the story of your emotional level, and to also let go on your story on the physical level. So we do some nice exercises there to release the belief, to release the emotion, and to release out of your cellular system the physical imprint you already have, to be able to create a new story. You can really imagine it. I don't have an empty book here right now, but well, that's also a story. That's this oracle book. And you can imagine your life like you wrote day by day by day into your book pages. And what we just do in life when we face a new situation is like, that's how it was. So I will just continue that. So we actually always refer back to the old. And what we want to do is to first get for the system the old part, release it. Like I don't rip that off now, but I think you get it. Rip it out and feel able and open enough from our system, safe and secure enough to write something new. To not have to continue your old story, your old identity that you so much over however old you are, from whichever point in your life, learn to live. They're also quite interesting, just example from myself. I had times in my life where I was incredibly self-secure. And I thought that came from a like deep inside place, but actually it just came more from a protective place. But I was self-secure. And then I had times where that shifted and where I was very insecure in myself. I felt like, God, now I feel like shit. But actually beforehand I also felt a bit like shit. But just expressed it in a different way. And then to understand all these different parts, and now going actually more from a place of, hey, you can be so rooted out of yourself and express yourself in the way that you are, that you're safe with it, that it's okay, that it's true, that you can be so authentic as you like, that you can just really bring that out and release all of the old other stories and traumas and imprints and everything that you received to truly live what your heart desires. And that's the main frame I give you. I see so much, I work with all of these parts in my own life and with the people I work with. I work with people more on the mental part. I work with people more on the only emotional part, emotional release. And I also work on the physical part, because in the end, all of these work together in some way. And if one doesn't release, then we keep stuck here and we will always be pulled back. If I don't release trauma and everything like that and physical imprint out of my body, my mental state will always come back in some way. We have to take all of these three parts to awaken more, to rise more in consciousness, to rise more into the life which we like to live. It's not just the one pathway. And that's the cool thing which I want to offer you in this one-day workshop, to really look from all these sides. And we have these 4.5 hours around. We have a nice break in between to really look at all of these sides and take a new empty journal and start to write what you would like to live. Because also there, in every moment of time, we have the opportunity, we have the possibility to take conscious new choices. And these conscious new choices can be so powerful that they will give a huge shift in your life. It's sometimes not even only about that we have to work on our old stuff to be able to reach it, but sometimes it's just this flip. It's like, no, or more, yes. Yes, I want to do it different. Yes, I make now this conscious choice with all my consciousness which is there, because I want to go into that direction. And that can have a huge energetic effect. That's why even in one day it's possible to shift a lot. It doesn't take a whole year journey. It depends on your openness. And I'm for deep transformation. And I love to offer deep transformative spaces. And I also know that in a day, a lot can happen for you if you are open to do that. If you're open and willing, if you really say like, yes, Sia, I'm ready now. And I would love to let this pattern, this thought, this emotion, this physical point of being where I'm right, I would just want to let that go. And I'm ready to do that. And that power from your side is necessary as well. It's like I can pull a lot on you and say like, oh, do this, do that. But if you are not ready to say like, yes, then I will just, if you're not ready there, then I just have a donkey I just try to pull behind. But if you say yes, and I create all the space around, then well, a lot can happen. Really a lot can happen. And yeah, if you have any questions right now already when you watch, or also if you watch the replay, just post them in the comments or just write me a message. And a bit summed up, what's the frame? So the frame is, you don't need to have any experiences of anything before, and you just need to have your inner yes of, yeah, I just want to change something now. I just want to bring something into change, mentally, physically, emotionally. I just want to bring something into change. The part of the rest of the frame as well, it will be on a Saturday, 21st of January, from 11 to 4. We have a nice break in between as well, so you can have some lunch. And it's good if you just like, you can do that from home. It's good if you have a bit sacred space for yourself, a bit quietness, not that people come in between and I just call now disturb you. It's just good if you have a yoga mat or if you have a blanket for yourself, and lots to drink. If you should have any deeper mental challenges like depressions, or also like physical disabilities, it's just something I need to know in advance. You can just tell me that privately, but it doesn't stop you from participating. If you have that, it's actually quite good if you see like, yeah, well, I have this state right now and I want to change it. Then we can also work with it. But for me, just to know like in which state you are. And yeah, that's actually the frame. So it can be very easy. You don't need to know anything in advance. You just need to be open. You just need to be willing to go into that transformation and to feel, even if you don't know how, but just your willingness to release the story that you hold of whatever you hold. Okay? And yeah, your journey, your investment is €143 for this time. And I'm really looking so much already now. I feel a lot of potent energy behind there, and I'm really like, let's do that. Like, I love to support people just to change their life into the direction where they would love to give, not want to give to, but where they would love to go towards to. I just so much love that if people are winning, it's like, I'm just ready to let that backpack now go. And you can feel safe in my hands. Like, I have a lot of trainings, I have a lot of own experiences in bringing myself through certain stories, certain periods of my life. So you can feel very, very safe in that space. And yeah, that's for now. I will share a bit more in my stories about this event, but this is like already for you to get a feeling of like, is that something where you feel called to do that? Where you feel like, yeah, I'm ready for that. It's just calling me. If you have any questions, please just contact me. And then I wish you such a beautiful day. Thank you so much for being there. Thank you so much for allowing yourself, maybe today or another day, to shift something and to feel ready, and that you know that you can shift it. Okay. So much love to you. See you then.